Welcome to Ciao Bella, hosted by me, Erica Firpo, travel journalist based in Rome. Each episode of Ciao Bella, I sit down with Italy's creators, contemporary artists and artisans, designers, culinary experts, heritage brands, and innovative aesthetes, and more who are defining and redefining 21st century Italy. Pull up a chair and join in. Hello from Rome. Today I am with Salvatore Spatafora. How are you?
Ciao Erika, ciao a tutti. Hello.
Dove stai? Where are you?
I'm a little bit likely because I'm living in Sicily, in sunny Sicily, in Palermo, the capital of the Sicily region, in the south of Italy. So spring has sprung, so it's important to help us to over this difficult moment right now in Italy. So it's fine. It's okay.
So you're not just in Palermo. I know you said to me the other day, you're actually in Mondello, which is the beach near Palermo, correct?
Exactly. It's part of the city, but it's a little bit far by the whole town. So it's a very relaxing place, the ideal spot for vacation. So, and place that all the people from Palermo loves in summertime or spring, because here in Sicily we have not very strong winter. So we love this part of the city because you can enjoy the beautiful sea.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast, and in particular my travel bites, because one of the things, I love Sicily and I try to visit Sicily as much as possible. I mean, one of the things, that's my dog saying hello, that I love about Sicily is I love eating. And I met you, I'm going to just tell everyone, Salvatore and I have known each other digitally for several years, but we met this summer when my family and I were in Pantelleria. And this is what I want to talk about, is I want to talk about Il Bacio di Pantelleria.
Exactly. So the gorgeous bacio of Pantelleria, that it's so the kiss of Pantelleria, that is a dessert sandwich made of two light and crispy pastries with a ricotta between them. That it's so it's fantastic. But I remember that you loved tasting the kiss of Pantelleria.
I think that my daughter and I had at least 2 a day. So I'm going to just describe to everybody where Pantelleria is. So, and actually I'm going to need your help a little bit, because we know that Sicily is an island, but off of Sicily are a bunch of little islands. And one of the islands, I think it's the one closest to Tunisia, is called Pantelleria, and it's known as the Black Pearl of Sicily. I'm trying to think. It's an airplane, or you can take the ferry, the navetta, I guess, to Pantelleria, but it's about a 30-minute flight as well, correct?
Exactly. And it's closer to Tunisia than to Italy. So, and there is a funny thing, because we're Sicilian, we live in an island, but it's funny because sometimes when we talk with my friends, with my family, and we have to go to Pantelleria or other small island in Sicily, we say we have to go to the island. So it's a funny thing about Sicilian lifestyle. So because sometimes we forgot to live in a big island, and in my mind, my opinion, the small island around Sicily, like Pantelleria, are the best part to visit when you are here in Italy, in Sicily. And
wait, so you're saying that from Sicily, which is its own isola, you say andiamo all'isola when you want to go to an island, even though you guys are already on an island?
Andiamo alle isole, so we use the plural.
So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, no. It's very funny because it's to understand how our mind like because Sicilians are so curious. If you compare a Sicilian with other Italian from Veneto, Milan, Piedmont, it's difficult for a stranger people say, "Oh, you are of the same country, so you're sure," because there are many different inside a small country like Italy. Then
Now,
if you visit Pantelleria, obviously we have other fantastic products like capers, olives, eggplant, tomatoes, whole extra virgin olive oil. And the cuisine is a mix with Africa and Mediterranean culture. So it's a very, I suggest from the bottom of my heart a visit to once in a life in Pantelleria.
now, now I'm going to just tell everybody, Salvatore is not just very proud to be Sicilian and to be in Sicily. He also is a food and wine writer, and and a travel journalist, and he writes for La Cucina Italiana. He writes for Agrodolce. So I think most Sicilians know what they're talking about when it comes to food, but you in particular have a really strong passion. So let's talk a little bit about this bacio. The bacio. So I went to Pantelleria, met up with Salvatore. It was my husband, my daughter, and before we met up with Salvatore, there
Yes.
was this thing they did in the desserts, which is the first thing I always look at, and it said the bacio, which means kiss. So I said, okay, let's
And
try it. And what arrived on our table? Go ahead. Sorry.
so for people that listen has so you don't have to kiss a local unless you want to, of course. A kiss is a sweet, is a typical sweet from Pantelleria.
But it's always good to kiss a local. I'm not right now, but in general. Um, so the bacio is, it looks like it's two cookies, but they look like
Exactly.
wheels. They're deep fried. And inside, so they're about the size of your hand or my hand. And then they're stuck together with ricotta. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's like ricotta, chocolate chips, cinnamon, and topped with a dusting of icing sugar. And it's very curious because in my when I go around Sicily, I remember that I found in other parts of the countryside in Sicily the same sweet, but with another name. So it's called, for example, close to Agrigento, the famous place with the valley of temples of Agrigento. It's called wheel, so le ruote, so that it's wheel in English. So, but the recipe is the same, the sweet is the same, but sometimes you can find it in other part of the in the region with another name. But the most beautiful and fascinating sweet, obviously, is in Pantelleria Island that you can match with the gorgeous Passito wines, the best production of the island of Pantelleria and also of Italy. Is a very recognized and wines in all over the world.
So tell me a little bit about the passito. I know what it is, but I don't know if everybody else knows what exactly a passito is.
Yeah, there are over 300 small growers in Pantelleria, and Passito di Pantelleria and Moscato di Pantelleria are the two famous wines from the highland. Passito is produced from wine dried grapes grown on the highland. That it's a variety of wine by Hansen to God, and has since been revered by wine critics around the world. I remember that you tasted in our last trip in Pantelleria. So we say in Sicily, we say that when you drink inside a glass of Passito, there is all the sun of Sicily, because it's very all the powerful of our region. So and people.
Yeah, it's. I mean, even just looking at it, it's a beautiful. So it's primarily a sweet. It's a sweet wine, correct?
Yes.
And would you just as a dessert wine, or could you have it at any time?
Yes, it's because the perfect match is a sweet and sweet. So sweet wine with a sweet like a passito, with the kiss of Pantelleria, or all other the other fabulous dolce sweet of Sicilian cassata, cannoli, filled with the famous ricotta cheese. So
can I grew up, when I was a kid, I didn't really like ricotta cheese, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my nonno is from Nicolosi.
Yes.
And then in New York, he moved to New York, and in New York there were a lot of like pasticcerie italiane, like tons of little Italian bakeries in New York. We didn't live in New York, so my nonno would buy like cannoli in the morning and drive to our house in Philadelphia, and we'd have cannoli that were like the child they were soft, or the ricotta was like warm, and it just drove me insane. But then I go to Palermo and I have my first cannolo like made in front of me, and it was incredible. Or I eat it was whipped, because I think this is the thing that there are so many different ways to sweeten and whip ricotta. It's incredible, and I think Sicilians are like masters of this.
Probably, and it's fascinating because I love my job, because it's not just talking. When you talk about Sicilian food, it's talking about our history, our tradition, because all the sweet, all the hands cuisine is the result of a mix of different cultures. So our Sicilian people are a mix of Arabs, or people from Germany, from Spanish. That because Sicily is a small island in the middle of Mediterranean Sea. So time by time, all domination want to stay in Sicily. So this is the reason why we have beautiful blondie girls and. Or men very dark, like similar to African people. So write about our food means talking about us, our lifestyle. So I'm very lucky because it's a fascinating job. And I have the opportunity to promote my land, my region. So again, so Sicily, yes, we are Italian, but when you talk with a Sicilian in the first, first we're Sicilian, then we are Italian.
And I think what's also amazing, just like you're saying, Sicily is such a melting pot of different cultures and thousands of years of history that you can find there's sometimes similar ingredients in similar places, but it's never the same. Like a caponata in Palermo is different from the caponata in Agrigento. It's different from the caponata in Catania. And for everybody to understand, go ahead, yeah.
And also in a city like Catania or Palermo, sometimes when you change nonna or home, the recipes change in every home that you go. So it's fantastic. So
the caponata, can you describe what the caponata is?
Caponata, caponata is Sicily, so it's a mix of little bit it's a taste of eggplant, so capers, olives, tomato, and the most beautiful thing is that every home, every nonna, every mama have a personal recipe. So there is not only one variety of caponata, but change when you go around the highland, or couscous, that it's based on fish or vegetable that come from North Africa countries. It's typical of the west side of Sicily, in the part I believe in Palermo, so it's in the west, in the western coast. So or we can talk about the ravioli panteschi, the typical that probably you taste in in Pantelleria, so filled with ricotta and mint. So it's a mix. It's a melting pot, people, food, and everything here in Sicily.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you think Sicilians are such experts in incredible dolci?
So it's very fascinating, the story of dolci, because all the sweet of the most famous sweet like cannoli, cassata, at the beginning this starts the story of this dolci start inside the monastery by the noon. So the dolci were prepared by the noon only for the nobility and from people of the church, so from rich people. Then time by time, in the last time, become a product that all people can taste and eat. But at the beginning, before the pastry man, so start with inside the monastery. So, and it's very fascinating story. Next time that you come back to Palermo, to Sicily, I wanna go with you in this in a monastery in the whole town of Palermo. That a lady, a group of women started to save and prepare again the ancient recipe of the noon.
Oh, really?
So it's a
gonna have to come in. Well, it's a promise that I'm going to be coming, because I tend to travel for my stomach. One of the things that I think why I love Sicily is that eating is a ritual, and it's not a privilege, it's a fact of life. And so in the morning, in the summertime, for example, you can get your brioche congelato, which is a soft brioche bun, a soft sweet bun with
exactly. And for people that listen has, I have stereotypes that are broken. So sometimes Sicily, when you talk about Sicily, you immediately think about granita. So I'm living in Palermo. Palermo is in the west. Granita is typical in the east side of the Sicily, or Catania and all the Syracuse, so in the eastern coast. For example, Catania, my friends of Catania, for breakfast start with granita and brioche. That it's a bread. So, but it's not very usual here in the west. But it's very gorgeous. It's very delicious. So, and in Italy too, all people thinking that granita, you can find granita all over Sicily, but it's the best granita. You have to go to Taormina, to Messina, to Catania. So in this side of the island. So this is important, because sometimes people forgot and that Sicily, it's not very tiny, so we have 4 hours by car to go by coast to coast. So yes, probably for Americans we're a very small island, but here it's the distance. So,
but you need, I always tell people, take as much time as you can, because you need to go everywhere and eat everything. Exactly. Now I have one last question for you. What are your 3 favorite dolci siciliani?
Oh my gosh! So, we say so. Cassata is called Sua Maestà la Cassata. So Her Highness in English. Yes, probably is so like a queen. So we say that the Cassata is the queen of dolci in Sicily. So especially in Easter and for Christmas. So in all the tables of Sicilian account. So we close the lunch with a cassata for in Christmas and Easter. So my top 3 is a cassata, then cannoli, and obviously kiss of Pantelleria.
Okay, I think I'm right there with you. My order is bacio, cassata, cassatina, and then cannolo.
Yes,
I like that. So So I want for my listeners to know where they can find out more about Sicily, which means I want them to follow you. Can you share with everyone
Oh,
where to find you on your?
thank you so much. On Instagram, it's very easy. So Foodmaker Sicilia. So thank you so much. If you wanna, I'm happy to share with you and with all your followers the beautiful pick images from Sicily, especially in that times.
Well, I'm going to put for my listeners, if you head over to my podcast my page, ciaobella.com podcast, you'll find this episode and all the details on Foodmaker Sicilia. Salvatore, thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to come visit you.
Ciao e grazie.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. If you'd like to know more about today's guest, please visit ciaobella.co and click on the podcast link, or go directly to ciaobella.co/podcast. Want more Italy? You can find all my episodes on iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher. When you have time, subscribe to iTunes and rate the podcast. What are you waiting for? And if you want to be part of the podcast, email me or DM me your Italy questions. To learn more about me and my work, go to my website, ericafirpo.com, and follow my Italy adventures on Instagram at ericafirpo. Ciao, Bella! And a very big thank you and hug to Massimiliano Yonta and Disc to Disc Studios, the producers of Ciao Bella, who continue to make me sound and feel great.